Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got an interesting show for you. All right, the top 5 most dangerous teams in 2023. We're going to go through this, and I'm going to list them from 5 down to 1. But I'm going to start out with some honorable mentions because we've got some teams on here that I think are going to be pretty darn scary. And there are 3 teams that didn't make that top 5 list, but you need to keep your eye on them. And we're going to start out with LSU. I think LSU is, look, they're not some dark horse, that nobody sees coming. They won the West last year. They've got Jaden Daniels at QB and Brian Kelly. This is his 2nd year. Now, the Vols jumped on LSU down there at the Death Valley, and we were fortunate. We got them at 11 a.m. Central Time, and I don't think their fans had a chance to get properly motivated or imbibed.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you? Sucking back on Grandpa's old cough medicine?
No, oh no, sir.
Oh, no. Yeah, because normally if you play down there, especially at night, it's an absolute nightmare. So we did catch a bit of a break there, and we jumped all over them, and that was fortunate. We kind of caught them at a good time because normally you don't walk out of there with a W. You just don't. So keep your eye on LSU. They didn't make the top 5 list, but they're kind of meandering close by. Then you got Texas A&M. I know that's going to surprise a bunch of you. They went 5-7 last year. But look, they are absolutely loaded with talent, and they brought in Bobby Petrino. If he can stay off the motorcycles, and Jimbo will let him be the offensive coordinator. Those are 2 big ifs. We'll see if that happens. But Texas A&M might sneak up on some folks, and that's why I've just got them. They are a dark horse as far as being a dangerous team out there because the talent's there. And they do have a 5-star quarterback in Connor Wegman, who threw 8 touchdowns and 0 interceptions during his limited time as a freshman, that's pretty darn solid. And then lastly, on the honorable mention category, Clemson. And I know Clemson got handled by South Carolina and Tennessee, the 2 SEC clubs they played. But, they play in the ACC, and they brought in a new offensive coordinator that I think is going to help them quite a bit, and that's Garrett Riley. And the Clemson's plan is to mimic the gimmick, which they're going to try to copy the Vols a little bit. Anyway, and it'll probably work out for them. They got a really good quarterback, a 5-star in Cade Klubnik, and that guy's got some moxie. He played as a freshman last year towards the end when ukulele started struggling so bad, and I think he could be good. You can just see the guy's got some skills, and he's confident. So those are the 3 clubs that they're kind of hanging around that top 5. And the other ones I had listed on this thumbnail, which would be Penn State. Notre Dame almost got honorable mention because they brought in a big-time quarterback from Wake Forest, and they looked pretty darn good last year. They ran the ball well. I think they're going to be pretty strong. That's one that almost made that list. Penn State, until they actually win something big, I'm just not going to trust them enough. And then Michigan, their coach is going to be out 4 games, but the first 4 games are against Little Sisters of the Poor. So it won't really matter. I think Rutgers is going to be their toughest game. But I haven't seen Michigan really come through during clutch. And they got beat by TCU last year, which was unimpressive. So let's get into the top 5 that I think are the most dangerous teams out there.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. No, Will Robinson. Danger.
And I'm going to start out with Ohio State. They got the best wide receiver in the country, Marvin Harrison Jr. That guy's unbelievable. And, of course, they replaced C.J. Stroud with Kyle McCord, who's a 5-star, and Ohio State's going to score. Their offense is strong. They're the one offense that really was successful against Georgia last year until that wide receiver got hurt, and that kind of saved Georgia's bacon. Kind of the same thing that happened with them with Alabama when they lost their 2 wide receivers. They don't like you saying that, but look, sometimes you got to get lucky to win a national title. They got lucky twice. So be it. You got to put yourself in position to get lucky. And then let's go to the number 4 most dangerous team, and this won't surprise you much. It's USC. When you've got a great quarterback in Caleb Williams, you're dangerous right then and there. And then they've got Lincoln Riley, brave Sir Lincoln, who ran away from the SEC because he didn't want to have to face the tough competition.
Brave Sir Robin ran away.
No!
Bravely ran away.
I didn't!
Took himself a big paycheck out there, brave Sir Lincoln. But they have been buying some good defensive players. Their defense has been atrocious, and I know something about atrocious defenses as a UT guy. But they're going to be very dangerous. And, of course, they're moving into the Big Ten eventually. So that's a team you definitely got to keep your eye on. Then let's move to number 3. That's my team, the University of Tennessee. Number 1 offense last year. We did lose Hendon Hooker. We have Joe Milton coming in. Our wide receiver room, our running backs room are packed and loaded. Only Ohio State has a better wide receiver room than us, in my opinion. We've got so many great players between 6'5", top 50 recruit Dante Thornton, who transferred in. The guy's absolutely super fast, and he's going to be very difficult to deal with. Then you've got probably the fastest player in the country, or darn near, and that's Squirrel White. He's 5'9" and the fastest thing you ever saw. He's going to be brutal. Brew McCoy, former 5-star that is just a brute out there. He's basically a linebacker playing wide receiver, and he's got an attitude to go with it. If he hits you, you're going to know it. Then you've got probably the most consistent wide receiver in the country in Ramel Keaton, and then you just go on from there. You've got a brand new Cam Seldon, who'll be a freshman this year, that's 220 pounds and runs a 4.3 40. Get you some of that. That guy's going to absolutely shock the world. And the list goes on and on. We're so strong at wide receiver. Then we've got a 3-headed monster at running back. All 3 of our running backs are really solid, and they're going to all get 700-800 yards. And when you stack that up, that's over 2,000 by the end of the year easily. So I feel great about our offense, and that makes us super dangerous. If our defense can improve, which it appears to be doing, the defensive line I think will be fine. It's a matter of the secondary. We now have depth in the secondary, and we'll see how that plays out, but everybody's singing the praises of some of these new guys. So that makes UT very dangerous, and they're number 3 on my list. Number 2 is going to be one Nick Saban, the Alabama Crimson Tide. That team right there, they're angry. They're furious. They lost 2 games last year, so you can understand how upset they are. You know, you lose 2 games in Alabama land, that's heresy. So there's a lot of anger there. They fired the offensive coordinator, fired the defensive coordinator. They got to get their QB room situated, but there's so much talent on that team. You know, they got 9 5-stars last year in the recruiting class, best class ever. So they're going to be loaded with talent and a very angry coach. Their schedule lines up perfect for them. They're going to be in good shape. Some of their toughest games are playing at Tuscaloosa, which is LSU and Tennessee. So that's a team you definitely need to keep your eye on. They are super dangerous. And then lastly, unfortunately, I got to say the Georgia Bulldogs are the most dangerous team. They've got unlimited talent. Kirby Smart is a great defensive-minded coach. He does a great job. They did lose Todd Monken, and that could wind up being a significant thing because Monken, in my opinion, is the best offensive coordinator they've ever had. He was fantastic, and they won 2 natties with him. We'll see how they do with the new offensive coordinator, and I don't know. We'll see. They brought in Bobo, who's, he's okay. He's pretty good. But Georgia, until somebody knocks them off their roost, which UT hopefully will do at Neyland this year, they're the most dangerous team out there. It's kind of hard not to have them at number 1. So we'll see how this all plays out. But those are my top 5 most dangerous teams, and I thought it'd be fun just to go down that list. You may have a different opinion. If you want to give me your top 5 in the comments, you're certainly welcome to. I always read my comments, or I at least try to. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. That lets me know to continue to cover my Vols, of course, and then all the teams that we play, the SEC. And sometimes I like doing some of these top 3s and top 5s. And if you've not subscribed, it's on your right, my left. Just hit that little button. I would appreciate it. It'd help you get my videos. And right over here's the most recent video that YouTube thinks you'll love. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.